welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm feeling very Olympian today, Alan.
Straight in with the elephant on the nose. Just leading straight in.
Well, it is the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games, one of the best times every 4 years. Come on, Alan, you must love the Olympics.
I actually do like the Olympics, yes, and we've had a bit of rugby today and we're actually dating this podcast. We never date the podcast, Ian, but we've dated it because you started dating it now, straight away.
No, because today is the Olympia opening ceremony, Friday in Paris. Here we go.
Oh, hang on a minute then. I didn't know this then, because the Olympics, I'm going to date it now, because the Olympics have actually started. So some events have started. So some events actually start before the Olympic ceremony.
Potentially. I presume stuff like rugby has to start early because it's only 3 weeks and you can only play, one, maybe 2 rugby games a week?
Yeah, but it's only rugby sevens, isn't it? It's not like they're playing 90 minutes of running round. Was it 15 minutes each side?
True, but if you've got a lot of teams, you've got to whittle them down.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So already we've had some football and we've had some rugby and other things and that. So, yeah. So 2 days ago is when it started. But today on Friday is the opening ceremony.
Exactly, Alan. And anyone who got that pop culture reference from me at the start of the show, please, because I think it sailed right over Alan's head.
Which was the pop culture? I didn't get that.
Exactly. I'll just let the listener move on to that. About the Olympics in more detail, something happened to me this week that made me nostalgic, Alan, that I wanted to chat to you about because we are in a pub.
Yes, we are.
And when you were growing up, did you have a local pub?
Yes, we had. My dad, it was called the Ivanhoe. It's called the Ivanhoe in Conisbrough, after Sir Ivanhoe at Conisbrough Castle and things like that. It was an Ivanhoe Working Men's Club, and yeah, it was where I had my first pint as well, I do believe.
Same here. I had a local pub called the Flying Shuttle in Farnworth. Listener, don't Google that. Please don't Google that. But yeah, it was where I had my first pint. I was speaking to my brother. He's a little bit younger than me. And we were talking about the Flying Shuttle, which is no longer with us. I think it's a Premier Stores now. And he was saying that he never really had a local because by the time he was old enough to drink at the age of 13, 14, it had shut down. So he never really had a local. Now where he lives, there doesn't seem to be a local. Is the local pub dying off?
Yes, without a doubt, it's dying off. There's so many pubs. I think I read an article once that there was something like 5 pubs closing every day for about, this wasn't during COVID, this was after COVID, but it was something like this 5 pubs in the UK were closing every day. A lot of them have gone to these like little, I want to call them tap houses. They call them tap houses or little pubs where they've, and I do actually know the reason why, because I'm still friends with a lot of landlords, and I do know why they're moving to these. So if you've got a big pub, so when I had my biggest pub, which was in Cosby called the Huntsman, when I had that pub, our rates for a year were £20,000. So our business rates for the year, based on the premises, the size of the premises, were £20,000. If you go and get a little shop, yeah, and based on the size of that shop, and turn it into a little tap pub where you're not going to get that many people, and you might get 30 people in as a maximum, your rent, your rate are in the region of £6,000. That's a massive difference.
Oh, wow. Particularly when you think if you go into a pub now, or even back then, there was usually tables free.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All the pubs I had, apart from certain nights of the week when there was live bands on, or when it was Sunday lunches, you couldn't get tables in some of them that time. But, go through a pub midweek, there were always free tables in all the pubs I had. I go to some of these little tap pubs now, and there isn't tables. You know, the people are like waiting for tables because they don't have that many, so it always looks full, and a full pub attracts more people.
That's quite true. I do wonder, Alan, what do you think replaced the local? Would it have been social media or coffee houses or gyms? Because I was thinking when I was growing up, if you were lonely on a night, you just hop into your local and you know there'll be someone in there that you know. You might not be good friends with them, but you could waste an hour and a half complaining about work and just saying how bad it is for Shearer's still playing up front for England when he's well past it by this point. But you could waste hours in it just talking to people. But what do you think has replaced it? Is it socials? Is it somewhere else?
I think that this is my opinion. The UK has become very insular because of mobile phones. You know, everyone carries a mobile phone with them now, and the amount of times you go into even when you go into a pub now, you can sit there for 2 minutes, and I will guarantee that virtually everyone in them 2 minutes will look at the phone. You know, or they'll take it out and they'll put it on the table, waiting for it to vibrate or buzz. Or someone will ask a question and they go, "Oh, I'll Google that for you." Where you used to go into pubs before, and pubs used to go into talks, you used to get that. You know, we go and, like you just said, you go and talk and shoot the shit or whatever it was about what you wanted to talk about. And it could be a conversation about nothing. We don't need that anymore. You know, we don't need that interaction anymore. And we've become a very insular society. And everything now revolves around Instagram, Facebook, the internet. You know, yeah, I just think we have it's things like so. I mean, one of the notes we're going to talk about the running challenges book that's come out. We're going to do because it's reading books. When was the last time you actually read a book, Ian?
Cover to cover or pick one up?
Just picked one up to read it.
Probably about a week ago, but I got through maybe 10 pages and then I read something in it which was interesting. I wanted to learn a bit more about that topic, so I picked up my phone and went on Wikipedia.
Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about. Is that people don't read things like back to back. I'm actually starting to read, but I'm going very much back old school. This is really weird, this, because I am going back old school now. I'm probably not on my phone anywhere near as much as what I used to be. I'm not as active on social media. I'm still active. I still put things on, but I'm not as active as what I used to be. Used to live on social media. And I'm actually doing things like picking books up and other things that are just different. I've even bought a guitar. Have I told you I've got a guitar? I think I have told the listeners I've got a guitar. So I've got a guitar and I'm learning a bit of guitar. So
It's such a good idea to just get that discipline because we'll talk about this later in the show. We went to Strive this past weekend, and I realized on the long drive down there that me and Jen, obviously, we talk like any other couple do, but we like talk for 2 hours straight because, of course, I can't have my mobile phone. And credit to Jen, she just had hers put down. We're just talking. I was thinking, the art of conversation has kind of died a little bit, even with the people you talk to most in the world.
without a doubt. And I love driving with Paula because when we're in Paula, we don't have no music on, we don't have nothing on. We actually just we talk about silly things and we talk about serious things. I love driving and around Paula. You are right. It is a lot of talking, and not everyone does it now. So but we do. We get. I love our chats on when we record our podcast.
We do, and obviously there is a yearning for this kind of pub chat because we see the ratings. There's lots of you out there, and we really appreciate all of you tuning in, and we love having you on the show as well because it is nice to chat to you all. But before we move on from this topic, I mentioned the fact that I was thinking about it because my brother said he didn't have a local, but something else happened this past weekend, which is I went on Friday night to my goddaughter's 18th birthday.
Go on, tell me. Because I've got when I last time I went to a party where it was like goddaughter's 18th birthday, it was like years ago, and it was like a buffet in some pub. What was this one like?
Buffy in some pub.
That's pretty cool. So things just don't change.
Not up north, no. There were some modern twists. So, for example, Alan, I don't think back in the day you had a crisp wall, which was a wall with crisp packets just put up with some what do you call them? Pegs. So we used pegs to put up a load of crisps. We also had a donut wall, which was like hook a duck, but with donuts there as well. But other than that, it was vol au vent, sausage rolls, quiche, some sandwiches, the usual. It was in the back of a pub. And it was definitely mixed emotions. On one side, yeah, obviously getting old, and all of her friends would look at us the same way that you looked at your mum and dad's friends when you had your 18th. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Oldies.
Yeah. But it also gave me the opportunity to meet up with people I haven't seen in years who I grew up with. And sometimes you can feel a little bit upset because when you're younger, you're going to take on the world, aren't you?
Yeah, you've got visions and plans, and yes.
Massive dreams. Me and my friends were always into creating stuff. We're gonna write, we're gonna make movies, we're gonna be radio hosts, DJs, all of that. And you just think, oh, yeah, okay, no, I've got to get a real job.
But you are almost a radio host. This is like very close to a radio host.
Well, this is what I'm getting to. So there's me and there's my best friend Carl. I'll name him. It doesn't matter. You're not going to listen to the show. But my best friend at the moment, Carl. My best friend growing up, Aaron. Probably still a best friend. They can all be best friends. And Carl's brother Neil. We all kind of hung around. There were a few others, as there often is, and it suddenly hit me when I was there with them all. So, like you mentioned, I'm now doing a podcast. So, technically, I am on the radio. Okay.
Yeah.
It is the cheating way to do it, but some people will listen to this on the radio. So, I'm on the radio. Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
My friend Carl, always into his music, dreamed of owning his own club. Well, he was DJing that night, even though it was his daughter's 18th, and he's going back DJing. He's dabbled with it. Back and forth, and he decided to buy a load of kit back, and he's going to DJ now, but he's going to do it because he can, because he's got an okay paying job now, and he can do it for the sake of doing it.
Cool.
My friend Neil, Carl's brother, recently appeared at a local production of a play. He was a leading actor, and he's going to be starring in a panto this coming winter. And finally, Aaron has actually self-published 2 books of poetry and a book of short stories is going to come out soon. So it's funny how things work out in that you think you're going to take on the world. And yeah, we've not taken on the world. We're not rich and famous, but kind of a dream's come true.
Mate, I talk about this type of stuff, and you're right, it's dreams come true. I mean, all I want to do was just share the love of OCR, and I'm sharing the love of OCR. Me and Paula were talking. In fact, Paula, I was talking to Jamie and Rob the other day about this type of thing when we're out running, and I said I am living my life to the full. Just sharing the good news about OCR in whatever it is. It's exactly what all I want to do as a hobby. I couldn't ask for a better hobby, and I love it. So
I do, and I brought this up so that we can give a lesson to some of our younger listeners out there, tongue twister there, listener, and that is, yeah, your dreams might not turn out exactly how you want them to, but they probably will come true in some way, shape, or form if you just keep moving forward.
Exactly. Keep moving forward. That is the key.
And we've been chatting about pubs. What are you drinking?
Well, I need to open another one now. We're halfway through the show, I think. I'm on WKD, pink gin flavoured WKD, because I found them in the fridge again. There's still a couple more left in the fridge from a barbecue. So I haven't had time. I did actually, though, I did find out. So I'm halfway down that one. I'm going to open in a second some active mango, pineapple, and passion fruit spring water. Got it from Beaver Castle Tough Mudder when I was there. And I've been sorting my bag out for this coming weekend at Europe's Toughest Mudder, and it was in the bag, and I thought, I'll drink that on the podcast.
Right idea, Alan. And WKD, that really fits in the idea of local pubs that we've just been talking about, because I think when the local was a thing was the last time WKD was popular.
It is, yeah. I think I remember when alcohol pops first came out, and we had alcoholic milk at one stage. I think it was what was the first one? It was a lemon flavored one called Hooch was the first one I think ever came out, and then everything started coming up alcoholic Moscow mules and some weird things there started. Anyway, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
Well, firstly, I'm going to say, isn't alcohol pops what your Harley used to call you?
Alcohol pop, yeah. It actually probably is when he was very much younger, yeah. Oh, Dad, you're on the beer again. Lovely.
Right, I'm going boring today. Sorry, listener. I'm on a Ribena, which came in some form of meal deal. I'm not going to talk about the meal deal anymore this episode because we have created a bit of a monster. Please keep it going in the podcast pub. Let's see who can beat the latest score, which I'm not even going to read out. Go in the pub and have a look, see if you can beat it because it is becoming a bit of a phenomenon. So I'm tapping out of that because I don't think I can beat it anymore. So yeah, I'm tapping out, but please carry on. Maybe we do the reverse and see who can get the worst deal out of one of those, who actually saves the least.
Oh, dare pay the least. Oh, dare go for the worst deal.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You know, you get like an egg and cress sandwich, which is actually only £1, and then a can of pop as opposed to a bottle of pop. I wonder if you can actually lose money on a £3.50 deal.
There's the challenge. There's the Swedish challenge.
That's
Ian's
this
laid
week's
it
challenge.
down.
Right, you mentioned ETM. Should we go straight in and talk about it? Because I'm sure lots of people are going to be listening to this on their way up, and if they haven't turned it off yet, they might want to get some information about ETM.
Yes, so ETM, the maps out of ETM. It's interesting, Ian, because I think we're going up a hill. However, me and Will have been going backwards and forwards about this because Will doesn't think we're going up the hill. So he thinks the hill's a little bit, as you're looking on the map, to the left and the bottom. I'm not convinced. I still think we're going to go up the hill. Maybe not right to the very, very top, but I think we're 3/4 of the way up the hill. But the big thing for me, Ian, is the layout. It seems to be running in reverse. So most of the time, whenever we've done Yorkshire, we tend to come through the woods very last off. So Arch Kennymer and then through the woods. This is actually going the other way, through the woods and up the hill. So it's a little bit of a change in strategy or change in obstacle placement stroke route.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the hill. So looking at the map, Alan, have you got it in front of you?
I've got it in front of me.
I'm fairly sure if you look at number one,
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that the field just to the north of there is where you sometimes have camping.
Yeah, that actually where number one is, that is the camping field.
Are you sure? I thought it was the other field. I thought number one was the next field over, but I could be wrong. That could be the camping field.
Oh, yes, yeah, because
So,
there's a little field. Yeah, yeah. You go through that field to the camping site. Yes, you're quite right. Oh, that's where I've camped when I've been there.
yeah. And from there, there's not a lot of flat land after there. So it's a
No,
gradual hill, but I'm convinced that 4, 5, 6 are. I'm not going to say they're at the top of the hill because the top of the hill, if you look at it, is up near just north of there. And you are
yeah.
avoiding the most dangerous part, which is just to the as you're looking at it, just to the left at number 10. Okay.
Is
Because
that Mud Mile?
usually,
Yeah.
yeah, because usually at number 10, I think you're doing the full, you'd head to the left of there or the right, whichever way you're looking at it, the part without a course. And that is where you then head up to get onto the hill and drop down. So yeah, I think you're going to have some elevation, but not as bad as you think it's going to be.
No, I think it's the first mile is going to be gradually uphill. That's my opinion. I'm looking right up to 4. I think you're going uphill. Then you're traversing across the top 4, 5, 6, which is obstacles. They are cage crawl, hanging tough, twinkle toes, and then I think you're on your way back down. It looks like Mud Mile is going to be into reverse to where it normally is. So normally you go the other way. So Mud Mile is in reverse. And then you're coming down to hydrophobia, hold your wood, block ness, and all the other obstacles that you're going to come into. It's great that we're going to finish there's going to be 3 good obstacles in the event village, which is Arctic Enema, Mudder Horn, electroshock therapy. I think that's the closest I've ever seen to the event village of Arctic Enema, which I think is going to be great for spectators throughout the day that are wanting to watch the normal Tough Mudder event.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Honestly, I wish they were slightly reversed. I would much prefer if you switched out electroshock for 18 and then you went through Arctic Enema just for the point of finishing clean.
Yeah.
Because again, you know my feelings in that I love mud, but I love finishing clean, particularly for an event like this, where when you're getting into your camp and into Tent City, you want to be able to use your hands.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the only slight miss for me, but I can understand it's iconic finishing with electroshock therapy. I'm going to ask you about the obstacles in that they may surprise you all, but on the surface, this doesn't look particularly exciting in terms of the obstacles they're throwing at you.
Looks standard. It looks very standard, Ian. You know, it does look very standard. We've got every part of the day there's electroshock. So one of the electric open, so whether it be electric eel or electroshock. Same with this one water obstacle. I don't know. I think the course is going to be the tough part. I really think that uphill. I think everyone's underestimating it. I'm not. I'm really. That first mile, I'm going to be conserving energy all the way up there, and saving it for coming back down in the flat bit. That's my honest opinion. But the obstacle wise, there's nothing there that I think I'd have liked to have seen something different. If I'm honest, I would have liked to have seen something from the worlds come over.
That's what I'm thinking. They may surprise you. Like they can do a gazillion million things. Like they can send you up Arctic Enema. They've done that in the past. They're already saying that electric eel will be shocks on the rocks. Traditionally, that means there's no water. But honestly, the names like what's that famous whose line is it anyway? That famous show, you know, where the scores don't matter. The names to Tough Mudder tend not to matter that much. So shocks on the rocks could mean you're having a whiskey as you're going through, which would be lovely.
When I've looked at the rules, there was one thing that got me. You know, you talked about reversing obstacles. Now, normally they say this obstacle is going to be reversed. They haven't said that on Arctic Enema, but they have said it on Everest.
Oh, Everest is an interesting one because sliding down Everest is difficult.
Yeah, depending on what the surface is like. You know, it just say it could be reversed. I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's a bit strange, but it doesn't say it on Arctic Enema in the rules.
Check it. I believe Everest is a penalty obstacle as well, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Have the rules announced what the penalties will be yet? Because I will confess, I've not looked at the rules in as much detail as you have.
They have, yes. There's a new one called Hawk 2, which is after the meme, as we all know, but the other ones are all the standard ones, but, you know, the Dizzy Bat and things like that. The Hawk 2, you are going to run to a water bowser, fill your mouth up with water, run back to a cup and try and fill the cup, run backwards and forwards until you fill the cup.
Oh, lovely. What's that connected to?
It's the meme. Have you not seen the meme that's been going around where the young girl, they ask her, how do you polish it? And she goes, huh,
What I mean is, which obstacle is it connected to?
oh, that part I don't know. I can't remember that. I haven't got the rules up on me, but yeah, I have read the rules and that. I have there is one thing that's worrying me though, Ian, from ETM weather. How hot is it going to be? Because the weather forecast says it's only going to get to 14 degrees through the night. At this moment in time, as we're doing this, it's saying 14 degrees through the night. Now, to me, that's not wetsuit weather. So I'm now changing my plan. I'm taking my neoprene shorts and I'm taking a rash vest. And I've been telling everyone you need a full-on wetsuit, but I'm not sure.
What is the wind chill factor? That obviously can change because bear in mind that obstacle 4 and 5, you're going to be exposed. At the top of that hill, I know you're not going all the way up, but at the top of that hill, you can get quite exposed up there.
You can, you're quite right. So let's have a look at what it's going to be. So currently, Ian, on Saturday, it is just showing. Okay, so it's changed now that we've got lows of 11. So highs of 18, lows of 11. But it is showing temperature wise. It's showing zero wind. It's showing zero wind. So yeah, On the long-range weather forecast, we're not seeing any wind whatsoever.
Which is, bear in mind, you do have cage crawl up at the top, though. So you could, if you're not moving fast, please do have at least a rash vest on.
Yeah, I'm still going to take a jacket. So my plan is still take a jacket. I've got my original mountain marathon yellow jacket. So some people might see me in my yellow jacket. I'm running around in that. As it gets colder, that should stop any wind chill factor. But I'm really going to take about. I'm thinking about running right from the start with neoprene shorts on, and then just literally putting the vest on second, third lap whenever I think I need it, and going from there. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
One thing to bear in mind, though, listener, I'm going to read this out directly so I don't get this wrong, but they do have the anti-doping rules there, as you're aware. So please don't do drugs. But as an exception to the WADA rules, Tough Mudder does not recognise marijuana as a banned substance, and no tested athlete will be disqualified for presence of marijuana in the blood or urine. So that seems like carte blanche to fly up to the top of that hill.
Oh, I love that, Ian. I love that. That's got to be one of the best ones ever.
Absolutely. Also in the rules, Alan, as you mentioned earlier, was these various penalties, including your favourite.
Which is Dizzy Bat, because you don't feel it?
No, Mr. Sandman for Devil's Beard.
Oh yeah, I got this. I saw this, and there is a little trick here. If anyone doesn't know this, as you're running up to, I'm going to give it away, Ian. I'm going to give it away here. Devil's Beard. If you're running up, have a look at what timers are already out. They normally only have 6 timers. So if the 2 5-minute timers are out, go and get one of the other. Dip your hand in. Don't do Devil's Beard. Avoid it, because you'll only get 1 or 2 minute timers. It's going to be very, very interesting. That Jess told me that. Jess Haney a few years ago.
So there you go. If you don't want to do Devil's Beard, that's how to avoid it. Chunky Monkey is the one which has Hot Tour as the penalty, I guess.
It's going to be so easy that I can't see that being too hard.
Well, you're not allowed to use your hands. So you do have to. I am thinking this is going to get pretty gross pretty quickly, because Chunky Monkey is a high failure obstacle. So, yeah, good luck, listener.
You do have to make attempt. I have seen that on all the obstacles, Ian. You do have to make a physical attempt on every one of them.
You do. And, with every one of these races, there is always that one obstacle that everyone hates, which is usually a must complete obstacle.
Yes. Yep.
I'm going to state the claim that Lumberjack, which is a must complete, is going to be the one that everyone talks about afterwards, because even at a nice dry day, that tends to be a pain in the backside to complete. Yeah, it's what do you call it? Is it the gut checker one, the sternum checker, where you've got flip over it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think that'd be the one that people will get away. I think if there's one, I think people will do it. But I think if you've got 2 back to backs, it doesn't say whether there's going to be 2 or 1, does it? It just says Lumberjack. So if there's 2, I think you'll get people avoid it.
You will, which of course they should be DQ because it's must complete. So I would say, listener, make sure you help your fellow mudder when it comes to that, because towards the end of the night, that's going to be really, really hard. So get someone over, then next person gets you over, and so on and so forth. And the other thing I did notice, Alan, which perhaps has caused a little bit of controversy, is how thin the course is in places. I hope Tough Mudder have invested in a lot of timing match.
Yeah, because you're quite right. And the thing is, when I've noticed the course as well, we're all starting fairly fast. After 300 metres, we go through them woods. That's a narrow course there as well, isn't it? That's going to be a bit of a bottleneck. If you're not out in front, when you get there, you could be stuck 5 minutes getting through that first bottleneck. So get out fast is the key, I think, this year.
Get out fast and don't cut the course. That's what we're going to say.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Alan, I will not be there this weekend. It is the intern's birthday, so we do have plans, and I can't say them on here because it will spoil the surprise, because I know someone who's listening would say. But yeah, I'll just say I'll be as far away from shivering on a Yorkshire mounting as you possibly can be.
I like that. I like that, Ian. I like that. Anyway, Ian, let's finish on ETM there because I've got a guest coming in to our pub tonight.
You know, I love guests. We were talking about this earlier in the show.
I know. I've got the winner of OCR Games coming in to the pub right now. Russell Walsh, welcome to the Swift Half, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on. You all right?
Oh, no, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. I only reached out to you tonight, didn't I, about half an hour before this and said, do you want to come on and tell us about OCR Games? So thanks for joining us. OCR Games, were you surprised with it? First of all, before we talk about what it is, was you surprised? And I know you went down there with intentions of doing your best, but I mean, you come in leaps and bounds in the OCR scene, you know. I mean, you're up there right at the very, very top. I've seen you run several times, none more so than at Farmyard Jam when you did absolutely amazing. But did you think you were going to be in with a chance with the field that was down there? Because it was a stacked field.
Well, I did it last year, and I came fourth last year, but I didn't run my best. I had a really bad race, the final race. So, and from all the previous races that I've done this year, I knew I was going to be in with a shout. I knew I wanted to be at least on the podium. That was the goal. And I knew it was going to be a bit of a three-legged race between me, Mo, and Das, to be fair. Which it probably turned out to be. Wasn't to be walking away with the top prize.
So tell us a little bit about it. Go on, Ian. Go on, you go first.
Actually, I was going to say, I think you've just asked the question I was going to ask. Well, kind of. Russell, I know you've obviously got Accountability Corner, which I'm sure you'll go into it in more detail. But could you just remind the listeners what OCR Games entailed in terms of what challenges? Because it's not a regular OCR and it's not a fitness race. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, so basically it's an event to test all aspects of OCR. So it was split into 5 events. So your first 4 events is what you earn points on to kind of get you a head start for the race. So they've split them down to endurance, athletics, technical, and strength. It was 3 groups of teams, just 3 groups, and we all did each event. Well, the endurance one at the first one, we all raced together, and it was like a knockout stage. But then the second, third, and fourth was all split. So you get a joker card as well. So this year you could play your joker card onto someone else. If you didn't think you're going to do too well in any of them, you could play it on someone else and get their points. So that added a really good twist to kind of maybe the athletes who weren't going to be like the mid-pack runners. You know, it was going to bunch them all up and make everything so much tighter for the final race, which is a really good aspect, I thought.
Did you play your joker card? Did you use your joker card? Because I know some of you didn't use them.
Yeah, no, I think everyone used them, but I backed myself.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. I backed myself on athletics and pulled out the bag and won it, so I got maximum points. So
awesome.
I think it makes you run faster when you're backing yourself.
Did you know when they're playing them joker cards who was betting on you? Did you have to go and do it like visible or?
No, so you had to do it. You had to do it all at the beginning, and
okay.
You just had to go and tell a certain person to who you wanted to play your joker on and what. But it was all kind of hush hush. Some people told you afterwards, anyways, and some people just kept it pretty quiet.
I think they should tell you, Ian. Do you think they should tell? I would love that. You know, do you remember It's a Knockout when they used to play the joker card? Then I think they should have come up like a big card. You should all get a big card, and it's like the joker card. And you should go up and I'm going, I'm playing my joker on this round on so and so. That would be better.
Well, if you get the joker card played on you, what does that mean? Do you lose points or do they just gain your points?
Yeah, they just gain what points you get.
So, Alan, if they knew that people were going to play the joker on them, there's a bit of tactical element there. Like, it may be better to just do worse in that particular event. If you truly back yourself, just have an event where you do maybe average, and you finish below these people who have bet on you, beg your pardon, and then you just go and dominate the rest of the event.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Oh, see, you're just thinking too deep into it now. But
maybe, I don't think anybody would go that far into it. Everyone wants to do as best as they can. You're still earning points for yourself at the end of the day. So if you sabotage someone else's race, he's also sabotaging yours as well.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to gain someone else's points on that event, but yeah.
So out of the 4 that you ran before the actual race, how many did you win, Russ?
I only won the athletic one. Came second in the endurance one. I'm not too sure on the other two.
Who won the endurance?
Well, won that one.
Oh, nice one.
So he went out hard and maintained the gap. So
Cool.
yeah, good on him. I just jogged it in on the last lap, so saved myself.
So when you got to the final stage, what I've seen on social media, it looks like you all set off at different times. It's like, so the person who's winning, they go first, and then the second, like so many seconds later, and that.
Yeah, so when you win an event, you get I can't remember the points were, but say you got like 60 points for the winner.
Yeah.
And then I think between first and second, it was like an 8-point difference. And then from that, it was like 4 points. So your points added up to seconds. So yeah, when Mo racked up the most points, but I was only 4 points behind him. So I set off only 4 seconds behind him. And then Jack Carpenter was third, but he was 40 seconds behind me. So me and Mo had a pretty good gap between everyone. So yeah, it's all about doing as well as you can in each event to maximize your points to essentially get yourself a head start.
So was it very much like the farmyard then with you and Mo? You were chasing Mo down.
Yeah. Oh, we had a good battle. It was good.
When did you make your move?
I passed him coming up on the hills. I think I was on the tire carry. I passed him on the tire carry, but he pretty much claimed it back pretty quickly. So I just kind of followed him the whole 3 laps. And then I actually passed him on the rigs.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. It was one of the rigs. It was a bit like a cargo net, probably about waist to chest height. But you had to go underneath it, and then under a couple of poles, and then there was like a longer pole, like a telegraph pole, and you had to shimmy along all that as well. And there was only 2 lanes, and someone was already on it, so Mo picked the clean lane because he was there first, and I had to pick the lane that Danny Morgan was on, and yeah, thankfully, I just squeezed my way past Danny Morgan and came out of it in front of Mo, and that was it. It was only 2 technical rigs after that, and a couple of mandatory ones, and it was just the finish after that. So it was just dig in and run to the end, like.
Perfect, mate. Well done. So, how much has this taken out of you for ETM coming up? We've just been talking about ETM before you popped in. So, how much has this taken out of you?
Nothing. It was just a good bit of speed training. That's all.
That's what I like to hear, laying down that gauntlet. I'm going to assume that you're going to be sharing a tent at ETM with Dassos because you and Dassos are really good friends. I know you're both going out for a win at ETM and that. Are you sharing tents? Have you got a pit crew?
No, well, no, not for this one. I've not really spoke to Dassos much on it. I don't know if he's got someone coming up the pit with him. I'm not too sure. I think Becky might be. But yeah, it'd be good. I've spoke to you before. It'd be good to try and get everyone together and have just one big pit. I think that'd be good crack to have. But yeah,
without a doubt, because there's going to be some great runners there. I mean, anyone listen to the special that we've done, and with when we talked with Will last week about it, there is some great runners. Ian's going to miss it because he's going to go to some birthday party.
I didn't say it was a party.
I'm going to the party. I almost got it out then.
Right, should we go through the results, by the way, Alan?
Let's go through some results, yes.
Right, so in the men's competition, I'll do them in reverse order and then forget I'm doing them in reverse order and probably not as we move through. But in reverse order, in the men's, we had Dassos finish 3rd, Morgan Maxwell finished 2nd, and then some chap called Russell Walsh finished 1st. So well done, Russell. In the women's competition, Tamar finished in 3rd place. We had Shyla, who is having a great year. She finished 2nd. And then, Alan, Viola Oberlander finished in 1st place, which is a name that fitness racing fans will know, but the obstacle racing scene might not know as much.
Very much so. When I saw it, I was thinking, wow, we have got High Rocks fitness racing athlete moving over to OCR.
We should say Viola has done Spartan in the past. I think she went to Morzine and did do the ultra. She's a member of Team MyZone, which is why she was over, because she went and did Strive on the Saturday and then found her way down south and did the OCR games as well. But I don't think even she could imagine that she'd have finished in first place. So well done to Viola. We also have the Masters champion. Louise Ferriman was first for the female, and your favourite surname, Ramunas Wikis,
Yes, going, you got it.
I got it. He was first. And then we have the OCR Games Fortitude Award, which went to Amelia Solomon. So well done, Amelia.
Cool. Are you going back next year, Russell, to defend your title now 2 years in a row? Got to go back for a third?
I'd say so. Like, it's probably one of the best events in UK, to be fair. It's so good. Like, definitely worth it.
And it's the best of the best that go to it. Let's get this right. Definitely. This is the best of the best that go to this event. This is not one for everyone. It's a limited entry number. It is the best of the best. So
we're spreading the word about it at the Europeans and try and get some of the Europeans to come over, which will spice things up, I think.
Without a doubt. Russell, I know you've got to get off for a run before this weekend. You're still running where I'm sat here just chilling now for the start of my race, but you're still running. Good luck at the weekend. Hopefully we're going to catch you. We get a tent close to each other and we can chat. I can chat through in the morning with you after we've finished. And that.
You're not going for the sprint lap?
Well, I'm gonna go fast, but not as fast as you guys. I'm nowhere near you guys. If I can get round that, with a hill and that in 40-45 minutes, I'll be happy. Yeah, there's a little hill to go up first in there, and it depends how muddy it is from the day. That's the big key. If you don't listen to Get Tennis this podcast, a little tip for you: get out early because there's going to be a narrow gap going through the woods. So get out there really early, get out there fast, make your start, because on that narrow gap, that's where there's going to be a bit of a what they call a backlog. So
cool. Good to know.
Cool. Speak to you later, mate.
Thank you very much. We'll catch you then.
He's a good lad, isn't he, Russell?
Top runner, mate. Absolutely top. I wish him all the best for this weekend. I think he's going to really go out and go second in the Endurance League behind Dassos. He's got a chance of getting there. So, yeah, good luck to him.
He does. And we mentioned there about Viola, how she did so well and how she runs a lot of Spartans as well recently. And last week, Alan, we covered off some free tickets for female athletes wanting to take on Spartan at Southwest. I understand you've got a little bit more information?
Yeah, so I've been speaking to Dawn about this. I said I'd give another shout out. It's coming all over Facebook. There are still spaces left. All right. It's 50 free tickets to the Spartan Sprint on 11th of August at Badminton. It's the 11:45 wave, yeah, and the whole wave is going to be supported by brand ambassadors. So the Spartan ambassadors are going to go out, which includes pro racers, age group racers, women taking part for the first time. So people are not going to be alone. So if you're interested in doing this, get your name down. Just look at the post. Go onto ukocr.com. We've put it on there. Go onto Obstacle Course Racing group. There's links on there. Fill the form and get yourself down there. Free race. We don't often get races for free. People complain about the price of them. It's a free race. Come on, get down there, women.
No, exactly. And speaking of the price of certain things, Steve HFD on the Facebook group, a regular Facebook group, highlighted that Forest Warrior OCR heard our pleas, Alan. They had an event, they had photos for it, and they did a pick and mix. You could get 2 images for £9. You could get 10 images for 20 quid, or up to 30 for 30 quid. And you could have 50 for 40 quid. What a much better way of doing it.
Loved it. And when I saw it, thanks for Steve for posting that. When I saw it, I was thinking, that's absolutely amazing. Great news, Forest Warrior. That's what the pricing should be like. Yeah, I get that, 1 or 2 pictures, you've got to make your money back. But, if you've got 30 pictures, and the 30 pictures, a lot of them will be the very, very similar pictures, it's worth 30 quid. You know what I mean? It's a reasonable amount of money.
Well, it's worth the 20 quid for 10 images, because that's enough to put on your Instagram to make a carousel, isn't it? And like you say, some of the images will be very similar, so you can discount them and get the images you want. And we probably don't give Forest Warrior enough love on this show. So, listener, go and have a look, see when the next event is. It's, I believe, a Southwest event, Alan, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, they tend most of them to be down south, but yeah, I don't believe it's Southwest.
Yeah, and make sure if you haven't already checked them out, go and check them out. Speaking of checking things out, this weekend, if you're not at ETM, then the hardest working person on the Facebook group, Mr. Tony Leary, pointed out that there are still a few places left at the PT barn for this Sunday. So even if you have done ETM, if you can drive down there very quickly, you could still do this for the World Obstacle Championship Training Day. Again, if you can do it, then it's not to be missed.
And they are great training days. So if anyone who's going to the Worlds or Europe or is into competitive racing, get yourself down there because you will get so many hints and tips. You know, Road to the Worlds and that. The amount of people that contacted me after going down to PT Barn to Road to the Worlds with Tony and Scotty and that come to me and said, absolutely amazing. They learnt so much and they did so much better at obstacles. Because it's not just, they don't just show you how to do obstacles, Ian. They show you how to break the obstacle down. So you look around, you break the obstacle down into what you're going to do. Very much like climbers do when they're climbing walls and cliffs.
So you can visualize how you're going to do it.
Exactly. And you've got it. You took the words out of my mouth.
There we go. Speaking of World Championships, at the top of the hour, we chatted about the Olympics very briefly. There has been a little bit of sadder news about the Olympics, shared by Gordon Cameron about Charlotte Dujardin, who was, I don't want to downplay it because as we're recording, it's not completely clear what happened, but if what certain newspapers are sharing is correct, it's horrendous. She hurt a poor innocent animal. Yes, she will probably claim that she was just disciplining it to try and get it to, or motivate it to try and get it to do what she wanted it to. But I don't think animals should be hurt by anyone ever.
Couldn't agree more, Ian. Couldn't agree more.
And do you want to know the saddest thing about?
I've seen the video.
Yeah.
It's not a good video, Ian.
Do you want to know the most upsetting thing to me about this whole story?
Go on.
The video is over 5 years old.
Yes. You know, it does stink a little bit. So first of all, why is it being released now? That I don't get that bit. Well, I do for news. But when it happened 5 years ago, this is round about the same time that we've talked about previous about the German guy hitting the horse and that. So this happened just prior to this, from my knowledge, if I'm working my timescales out right. Why? I don't get it. It's already in the news about doing things like that. Why would you do it? Oh, it's awful. It's just awful.
I think your timeline is probably that the German coach, I know you said guy, gender neutral, but I think it was a female coach who punched the horse. And right. I'm fairly sure that happened after the events in this video, which then leads me to ask, well, why wasn't this video released around that time or even when it was taking place? Because no one could see that and think, oh, that's right. And again, listen, last week we told you about being kind. This week, if you see something bad, act on it. This, to me, stinks of someone having an incriminating video of someone and then not using it until it was to their advantage.
Yes.
And that's what stinks about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. The person who took the video doesn't come out of here smelling of roses either. She definitely doesn't because of what she did. So again, listener, see bad happening, call it out. That goes for absolutely anything. But let's move away from that topic, Alan. Let's chat about a little bit of fitness news, fitness racing news. I was at Strive this past weekend. It was lots of fun. We talked about Course 6 on the tribute episode, I believe, and said that we should get a team together to go and do Course 6.
Yeah, we did. You're going to get a team together for Strive now?
Absolutely not. It looks horrific.
That's what I like to hear, Ian. So we're doing Course 6, but we're not doing Strive. You heard it here first, guys and girls.
Course 6, we can pull a truck. And to be fair, a Course 6 is going to hurt as well, but you get to pull a truck. Strive is fantastic for all the athletes who listen to this show. So pretty much everyone except you and me, Alan. But for all the athletes, go and do Strive. It's very tough, but it is a real test. For me and you, let's stick to covering it. If we take a team down, it's to get better coverage.
Without a doubt, yeah. To get better coverage, we're not taking this team on. Wasn't Nuclear Fit this weekend as well?
Was, and I do have the results. Should we go through the results of Nuclear Fit?
Give me some results, because I never watched. It had a live stream and they had a live stream, and I never got round to watching it. I was too busy doing other things on Saturday and Sunday. So what happened at Nuclear Fit?
They had a great live stream in that it was a wide shot, so it was one of them that you could put on. And of course, I wasn't watching it live because I was actually streaming live Strive. So make sure you check out at UKHXR Instagram if you want to watch the races back. The women's race and the men's race, Alan, were fantastic. The mixed race was good as well, but it was one of them where it became fairly clear who was going to win. Whereas the women's and the men's race, you don't know who won till right at the end. And actually, Alan, I'm not going to reveal the winners on this show. We'll reveal them next week to give people a chance to listen.
Like it, Ian. I like it.
Sorry, a chance to watch, not listen. But anyway, Nuclear Fit had a great stream which you could put on in the background and just watch, because you'd see people just milling around. It was a up high shot, wide angle, and yeah, was it the best coverage ever? No, but was it serviceable? Absolutely. So next time, check it out. Anyway, in the women category, third place, we had Sarah Switzer. In second place, we had Chloe Hammond. And in first place, we had Nathalie Stewart. What's interesting, I recognize these names from fitness racing. The early Nuclear Fit events tended to pull in a lot of OCR people. Yep. There's still OCR people as I flip down, but it does seem like they're starting to make a name for themselves in the fitness racing world as well.
Cool, like that, Ian. Because I didn't recognize any of them names from OCR world, so yes, get that.
In the men's, we had Richard Daniels in third place, Daniel Brook in second place, and Sam West in first place. Sam West is probably a name you do know.
I do, yes.
Alan's favourite part, the team event.
Go on. Give me the teams. I love this. Go on.
Well, in the male, we had No Pain, No My Zone in third place.
Okay, I like that.
We had ROLC in second place.
Okay, don't get that. Roll on laughing. Don't get that one. ROLC.
Yeah, just stop it there, I guess. Don't say C word. And in first place, we had Bod Squad.
Oh, Bod Squad, like that. What about the women?
In the female, third place, we had Sammy and Rowe. In second place, we had Oh My Quad.
Oh, like that. Oh My Quad, like that. That's a good one.
First place, we had On the Left.
On the left. Okay, yeah. On the left. Yeah, because that's like what you do. Each time we're taking people on the left, on the right. I get that, yeah.
Fourth place, I'm going to give a shout out because we've seen this team before. It's M, E-M, and M. Just a regular M.
I like that.
Mix, we had Essex Games Pinks in third place. Quick plug, next week we're going to put out an episode with Essex Games over on UKHXR, so check that out. In second place, we had Squat Lower Than Your Expectations. That's clever. That's
a good one, though. Yeah.
And first place, we had Hitman and Her.
Oh, that.
I will say in the pro category, interesting. We had Nuno Barreto in third place, James Taylor Medhurst in second place. In first place, we had Hugo Huge, who is probably not a name you recognise, Alan, but he was within a whisper of getting into the High Rocks Elite 15.
Wow. So if Nuclear Fit are attracting this type of athlete, where's this going to go? Could this be as big as High Roxian, do we think?
Maybe not as big, but definitely they could grow into one of the bigger, like we saw with OCR. You had Tough Mudder and Spartan, which were quite kind of on pedestals. You then had races like, ironically, nuclear races, which were just below them and still pulling in a lot of people. The female category only had 2 entries, but big shout out to Alison Ewers and Abigail Monk in the pro. Also shout out to fourth place Luke de Benidos because we like Luke, so he gets a shout out anyway.
Benedictus, not Benidos,
Benedict.
Benedictus. You're Fry Bendos then. It's like that was a pie. Luke doesn't eat pies.
No, he definitely doesn't. Storm, which is how many can you do in, I want to say 45 minutes or something like that. Their endurance event with no running. Female athletes, Joanna Hodjuk was in third place with 13 laps. Danielle Taylor was in second place with 13 laps. Charlotte Teal was in first place again with 13 laps. In the male, Andrew French, 15 laps in third place. Sam Blunt, 16 laps in second place. And Nuno Barreto in first place with 17 laps.
Wow. So Andrew is more of a OCR athlete. Sam Blunt, I think, does both, if I remember rightly. So, yeah.
And there's also some other names I recognise her. Zaid got 12 laps. Martin Boyce got 13 laps. So quite a few fitness people are making that crossover. So I think Nuclear Fit's just going to grow and grow. And they do have an event coming in September the 28th. So if you can make it before the High Rock season starts, then go and do it if you can. Right. What else have we got on our notes? Just 2 more things, Alan. Running Challenges book competition.
Yeah. So if people don't know, the book has turned up, Ian. It's brilliant as well. So the book's turned up. So 2 copies have turned up. One for me because I bought my own, and then we bought one for our people who want to support us and that. It's absolutely brilliant. And a couple of my ultra running people that I know have bought the book as well, and they're already out there doing the challenges. It's great. This book is going to really take off, and we got one to give away. Amazon have now sold out. As we're recording this, there is none of this available on Amazon. If you want to win one, join our Patreon. Yeah. So every time you join our Patreon, for whatever you donate, if you donate £2, you get 1 entry into the raffle, £4 to enter the raffle. And same as if you want to make a one-off donation through Buy Me a Coffee, for every £2, you get an entry into that. It's going to be good. We're going to do it on 1st of August. We're going to do a live draw on Facebook, probably, I would have thought. And someone is going to win this book, and I'm going to post it out to them. So they're going to have it virtually instantly. It's amazing. It's so well put together. And so many events so many of these runs I want to do. I'm like already planning them now for coming up for next year. Not going to do no running events next year apart from this book. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah.
Exactly. I'm still a bit upset that you're giving away my copy because, usually when we buy 2 things, we tend to share alike. But anyway, I will say, listeners out there, that we did have a bumper time when it came to the Buy Me a Coffee over the weekend, didn't we? A lot of people were very thankful of the Strive coverage. So quite a few entries of, they've probably got more entries now than some Patreons, don't they? If you're doing it £2 for every entry.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them have got quite a few entries. Several people bought 10 entries. So yeah, or more. So yeah, there's quite a few entries.
And ironically, probably didn't even realise we were doing that. They were just thanking us for the coverage.
They were. So, and our patrons can top it up if they want to. But I'm not saying they've got to. It's up to them. But everyone's going to get a chance, and we'll probably do a Patreon only one coming up in coming months. So the patrons are not going to lose out. Couple of the news, Ian. So first of all, we have got another running event company that has closed down, Ian. So I'll just get this up. So this is about trail running, and trail running events at this moment in time are being hit hard. So we saw OCR events getting hit hard post COVID, and a lot of them cancelled. It's happening at this moment in time with trail events. So quite a few trail events are closing down, and this is Trail Events Company. So it's actually a company called Trail Events Company. They do races all over, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons, and ultras. They're closing down. So another trail event closing down. There seems to be a lot of talk about this particular one because they did big events When I say big events, I'm talking thousands of runners rocked up to them, but they don't seem to have made the money since they've come back out of COVID.
It's such a shame, Alan. It's probably just a sign of the times as well. We've experienced this in our lifetimes. I know we've not technically been in a recession, but people have tightened the belts or have prioritized differently, if that makes sense. So people will still be spending, but it's what they call the lipstick effect. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you'll still have little treats to yourself, but perhaps rather than go and spend, I don't know, 30, 40 quid on a race, instead you'll get something else, like you'll buy yourself a book of the best trail runs you can go and do for free.
You're absolutely quite right, Ian. And I think this is a sign of the times, and I've said this, and I have been speaking to, I did the little thing not long since and asked people to message me about why they don't book races early. Absolutely massive thank you to everyone who responded. I think I got nearly 50, 60 responses. And the same thing happened quite a lot, is it's all about faith in the companies. So if they want to put people want to book races early, but because races have cancelled, they're frightened of doing it from losing the money. Pay by credit card, people. First of all, follow Martin Lewis. It tells you get rid of your debit cards, dump your debit cards, pay for everything on a credit card. You are instantly covered. All right. So if the race doesn't go ahead, you will get your money back through your credit card. You have to fill some forms in. It's not a long problem. So I'm now paying for everything through a credit card. Never had a credit card in my life, but any race I go forward, I'll put it on this credit card. I'm going to pay it off instantly purely because I'm getting free insurance. Okay. So that's one thing. If you don't book early, these races are going to close. This, and I've said this before. It's interesting that I speak to so many race directors now, and they've seen a massive trend where before they were guaranteed they'd put a race on. The moment it finished, they send an email out the following week, and they get 20% of that race people sign up. That doesn't happen. Yeah, even though it's at the lowest price, it doesn't happen anymore. The big entry fees happen literally a month before a race, which is not great for a race director to be able to put a race on because they can't plan that race. They can't plan new obstacles. They can't plan how much money they're going to spend on X, Y, and Z. It also stresses them out as a race director. It stresses you out whether you can afford to put the race on or not. And that's what happens, and that's why people are getting pulled. If you pay by credit card, you're going to get it back. So sign up at the cheapest rate, pay by credit card. But the other thing that came out of this was the fact that obstacle course racing and trail running, because a lot of people mention trail running, is becoming more and more dangerous in terms of injuries in. Not dangerous as in life-threatening injuries, but injuries in twisted ankles. And so many race directors now are a little bit low to transfer entry fees, or they put extortionate fees on transferring. And I'm seeing a lot of this in Rat Race this week. So I don't know if you're following some of the pages on Rat Race. A lot of people are deferring Rat Race Sea to Summits, which is in a couple of months' time. They're deferring them tickets now because they're injured and they're frightened they're not going to be able to complete them. Fantastic what Rat Race are doing. I think it costs £15, but you're talking about an £130, £140 race. They're giving people the credit. You can move it to another event. But not all race directors are doing it because they can't afford to do it. They've already made, they've already had the medals ordered, they've had the T-shirts ordered, they've had everything ordered, so they can't afford to do it. So it is a catch-22 situation. But the point I was trying to get to was, if we don't book these races early, we're going to see more fall down to the thing. Get a credit card, people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of weird. The state of mind sometimes is that people assume that, oh, if I can't do that race, then I should automatically get a refund because I can't do it. It's not my fault because I'm injured, etc. But if you think of other things in your life, if you book a restaurant which requires a deposit and then you can't make it, you're kind of upset that you're going to lose your deposit. Maybe that's kind of where we need to get to, in that maybe the minimum that the race director needs to cover themselves for you not making that race, maybe that becomes a deposit and you just get a partial refund.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that, Ian. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I guess we're preaching to the converted here because at Overload, I transfer. You know what I mean? You contact me 2 weeks before the event. I'm going to give you a free transfer to the next, the next event. Yeah, I'm not going to give you a refund. Your money's already been spent. You know what I mean? I'm going to have an extra medal that I've paid for, and I've paid for your insurance and things like that. I don't charge an admin fee straight away. I'll instantly do it. But I'm a different type of person to some of the other race directors. They're doing it for a living, and they can't afford to do that. But there needs to be something there, don't there? I don't know what the answer is. Maybe it's a £10 admin fee as opposed to a £30 admin fee. As long as you give them a race a reasonable amount of time of cancellation.
Maybe that's the solution. And I guess we can go round and round in circles, but it's a bit of a bridge to the next topic, which is something that has passed away, which is OCR magazine.
And it's going to come back, hopefully. Yeah. So Obstacle Race magazine had passed away. COVID hit it really, really hard. There were no races. They couldn't put the magazine out. But now it's up for sale. I don't know how much they're asking. I haven't reached out. Kevin, let me know. If you're Carl, listen, let me know. I haven't reached out, but it's great news, and I hope someone takes it over. I hope someone turns around and says, yeah, we can make a go of it. I used to love it. I subscribed to it. I couldn't wait until I got mine through the post and that. So, yeah, I really hope someone takes it on. I hope someone does well. They've got a massive database. I think if an event wanted to start up and they wanted a database of runners, because bear in mind, Obstacle Race magazine did Mud 7, yeah? So they've got a massive database of runners, and I believe that they're selling that database with the company. So any race that wants to set up, they're going to have 100,000 names.
Which, providing that the correct privacy policies were in place to cover you for contacting all of this, all of these racers, then great. But I will put my lawyer hat on for a second and say, if you are looking to buy it, do your due diligence, find out exactly what you can use that database for, because there's no better way than to get yourself a black eye in the marketplace, then message a lot of people about a race and they go, I have no idea how you've got my details, and I'm going to complain to the information officer now.
Quite right. I do believe, and on that they did state that they would share it with third parties, because when they did Mud 7, they would share it with all the people, that database with all the people that was at that event. So, and I don't know the ins and outs, but you're right, Ian. Make sure that if you do purchase it, you don't break GPDR.
Or GDPR.
Or GDPR, sorry. Yeah, that's wicked for you. That's Pink Jim wicked for you.
It is indeed. And we will follow this story. We'll see if anyone purchases it. I hope it's someone from the community and it's not just taken over by those people who claim to be able to do live streams and spam Facebook.
Which we have been hit with quite recently as well. So, yeah, I'm complete agreement. Maybe the wage rises we keep giving maybe Will will purchase it.
Exactly. Maybe he can now afford it. Him and the Pesky Who's Hot team can all go in and own a third of it.
Too right. And talking about that, they are out on Monday with their review of Rude Rampage, and it's a good review. And I've listened to it all as I was editing it, and it was a good. I like this.
All right. Well, I cannot wait for that. And listener, I think on that, I'm going to say it's a goodbye from me.
Ian, thank you for joining me again. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Listeners, thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've been very much off track early doors. We got back on and then went back off again. But in the meantime, guys and girls, if you're at ETM, look out for my new gazebo. Yeah, a new blue gazebo that's going to be out for UKOCR and our flag. Come and say hello. I'm going to be there from at least 6 o'clock in the evening after I put it up. Come and say hello. And until then, you take care, you stay safe, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.